separately.
Have no fear. Venkman, Stamps, and Spangler are here. So are these ghosts. They've got ectoplasm. We've been goofed. Now what? Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Let's show this pile of dessert who's boss. Activate Neutrona Blaster. We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Peter Venkman, Ectoplasm, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and other figures each sold separately. Ghostbusters, new from...
The real Ghostbusters, a firm favourite of many, many generations of kids and adults and just toy collectors in general. Their toys are for the ages, 100%. And I'm no stranger to collecting Ghostbusters. I don't have actually a very big Ghostbusters collection, but what I do have is actually quite special. As you can probably see behind me there, I've got the full set of the Ecto Glow Ghostbusters, and this was one of the more popular action figure lines of the 1980s, when the Kenner Ghostbusters was based around the 1986 to the 1991 original animated series, and obviously that was a film, that was an adaptation of the film which came out in 1984. And this toy line, the real Ghostbusters toy line, it debuted the same year as the original cartoon, and they continued the production of these figures all throughout the run of the cartoon series. But although the initial release was accurate to the resemblance of the original Ghostbusters, you know, we've got like the cartoon designs. At some point they actually moved away from, stopped trying to be faithful to the existing source material, and they ended up coming up with original costumes, original designs, new articulation. There was new weapons, there was new ghosts, and all these things were new stuff that was designed by Kenner, which was actually quite amazing. That really prolonged the life of these toys. For me personally, I never had a huge collection of Ghostbusters, but as I started collecting as an adult, my taste moved beyond the normal 1984 figures. I became enamoured with figures and toys that glow in the dark, so I started getting fixated on glowworms and toxic crusaders, and then Ghostbusters started doing glow in the dark toys, clothing that glow in the dark. Basically there was just a whole mountain of stuff that appealed to me as someone who liked bright colours and something that were a little bit different, a little bit odd, that most people didn't really collect or have, and just stuff that glowed in the dark. I used to love glow in the dark stuff. Kenner brought out this Ghostbusters line. Obviously they produced this in such small quantities that it never actually reached Europe, it didn't reach Australia, anywhere else. It didn't sell, from my understanding, it didn't sell anywhere outside of the US, and even in the US it sold in such small quantities because they just didn't produce it in such big quantities.
Ghostbusters!
Each sold separately.
See any ghosts? Not yet. Venkman, it's back to the bone. Get me out. Looks like you're really into them, Stan. Zap them. Safe. Not so safe. It's Sludge Bucket. What a slob. I've been gooped. Activate Neutrona Blasters. We ain't afraid of no ghosts. Ah!
Peter Venkman, Bad to the Bone, and Sludge Bucket with Ectoplasm, each sold separately. Ghostbusters from Kenner.
This came at the end of really the real Ghostbusters toy run, before they branched off into new lines with new designs, etc. So Ecto Glow Ghostbusters were based on the original line designs, but they came at the end of the original life cycle before they moved into new things such as the monsters and fright features and all that kind of stuff. So getting these Ecto Glows are just really hard to come by. You really just don't find them. So when you do, really the only place you do find them are US toy shows in very small quantities, or online, both of which are incredibly expensive, and they're arguably the first or the second most expensive Ghostbusters toys that exist today. They routinely price from anywhere between $400, £400 up to, you know, £700-800, and you can see by the graphics that even over $1,000. These are crazy prices people spend on these toys because they are so sought after. Now, I was fortunate enough to pick up these 5 figures when probably about 10 years ago I found a really good deal online, and I imported them from America. I think I paid, with shipping, I think I paid like £250 total. They're mint condition, they're in box, there's no creases, there's no dents, they're unpunched card, they've come straight literally from the factory out of a box. So this was somewhere sitting in Kenner's archive warehouse somewhere in the toy box. They'd never been released to the public, and they found their way into my hands 10 years ago. So in absolute mint condition, so I've no doubt that they are worth, you know, each figure probably close to £1,000 each figure. So very popular, very rare, and they're sitting in there as a prize of my collection. Now, sadly, I mean, Kenner stopped being a company in around the year 2000. I think they were owned and bought out by Hasbro. They shut the studio down in the year 2000. They did bring it back the early 2010s when Disney bought the Star Wars franchise, and then Hasbro revamped Kenner to start producing the Star Wars toy lines again, because that's what fans wanted. So Kenner does technically exist under the Hasbro umbrella. Whether we ever see Ecto Glow Ghostbusters re-releases, I don't know. Again, they were produced originally in such small quantities that I don't know if the demand is going to be there for them to re-release them. They re-released the original series, so you got the blue backs and the purple backs cards, but these glow in the dark Ecto Glows, we really don't know. And what made them really special is that obviously they're covered in glow in the dark paint, so everything glows in the dark. They look amazing. The ghosts are really special. Plasma rays, I can't remember what they're called now. They have a different shape, so you can wrap them around the ghost, so you can have more articulation and more displayable, especially if you're doing dioramas and stuff like that. They're just an overall better version of the original design. So if you want to do a really good display, then you're gonna want to get the Ecto Glow lines. And obviously the Ecto is representative of ectoplasm, which is them being smothered by the ghoulies and the ghosties ectoplasm as they get attacked. So it's a really fun toy line. They look fantastic. The card design, the card colors, the figure cards, the characters themselves, they're really exciting to look at. They display amazingly well, and they're just an absolute pleasure to have in my collection, and no doubt if you have them as well, they're an absolute pleasure for you to have in yours as well. So that was the real Ghostbusters, the Ecto Glow variants, super rare. If you want to hunt them, go ahead and hunt them. You probably won't find them in the UK, so you're probably gonna have to look online and maybe travel abroad to America and see what they have at the toy shows. That was it. That was all I wanted to talk about. This was part of my collection. I don't know if I'm going to let them go anytime soon. They're super fun, super exciting. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Bye for now.